guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be sharing tons of things. I'm sharing all my favorite resources for preschool, pre-K, all the way up through kindergarten. So make sure that you grab either pen or paper or just look down below in the video description. I'll try to link everything I'm talking about today, but it is a lot. So with these ages, right, preschool, even like toddler-ish or like tot schooling, we'll say like that older 2s to 3, 4s, 5s, and then up to 6, depending on like your child's birthday. This time period is like my favorite time period, and I do feel like the resources that you end up like investing in or buying, actually like you use these for multiple years. Unlike when you buy 2nd grade curriculum or 5th grade curriculum, a lot of times we're not reusing that. But when we talk about these younger ages, a lot of these things can be used for multiple years. If you're new here, my name is Ashley. I homeschool 3 kids. I have a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So everything I'm talking about today is specific to my 4-year-old, what we currently use, but a lot of these things I actually used with my older daughters as well. Even if you're not really a homeschooler, but maybe you have those young kids and you want them to be prepared when they do go to a school setting, these are great resources. I've used them in preparation that same way when my older daughters were in public school and not homeschooled. So let's jump in. The very first thing I have is actually on the computer. Through these ages, your kids have different interests. So sometimes they're super into a certain character, maybe on a show that they watch, or super into like a certain thing like dinosaurs or dolls or outside nature. And so I feel like this is a very adaptive stage. And so a lot of the things I find for my son are things online. I've bought numerous things on Etsy, Teacher Pay Teachers, but recently, and I've shared this before, I started using Creative Fabrica. I started with my teacher club card, which I have videos on that. It's basically like a little mini portal on their entire website where there's teacher created resources like fun little activity worksheets. You pay $2.99 and you get access to them the entire year. And that is an amazing value. But recently I upgraded my membership to the all access plan. This all access plan is absolutely insane. I'm going to be talking about it over the next few months because there's so much to it. But to specifically bring it back to how I use it for like my preschooler is creating resources that are specific to him and his interests at that time. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of that, but this one is just a font I found. So you can download like free fonts once you have your all access plan. There's a trial that I think I have linked down below, so you can get 10 things for free. So even if you don't want to spend the money, use the link, try it out, download some fun stuff for your preschooler, pre-K, and then you get to keep it. So I found this font. It's a handwriting font, and it's a lot different than the ones I've seen before because it's more of like these bubble letters. He really likes to write with like big, bold markers, and sometimes like the little thin tracing lines are hard for him. And so I thought that this would be perfect, and he's obsessed with learning to write his name. So because I have the font download, you can put the font into like just Word on your computer, and then it's like a font you just type with, so you can type anything you want. So I just made this little paper of his name, but you know, as we are learning different letters, as he's learning his first beginning words, I can start customizing this to whatever curriculum we have, whatever we're using. Maybe his older sisters are working on something and he wants to be a part of it. I can like type up something and just make it super easy. So I have definitely been using my all access pass, and it has more than paid for itself. Just wanted to say thank you to Creative Fabrica. They did sponsor today's video, and I have been working with them for the past few months, and I absolutely love everything in my all access pass. So like I said, I'm going to be sharing a lot more of what you can do with Creative Fabrica. If you happen to see something on here you want me to focus on, just let me know. But for the theme of preschool and pre-K, I just want to point out some different things that I wanted to share with you guys. So this is that font that I downloaded. So you get the tracing font and the standard letter font. And like I said, you just get it in a traditional font format, which you can save to just use on Word. I use it in Canva, but basically you just download it and that's it. I wanted to show you a couple other things that they have. This is a learning color worksheet PDF. So if we're working on different colors, I can just come here and have access to this. Here's some story paper. So this is something so simple, but once you download it, you have it for life. So even if you come on here, find all the things you want, and store them, you guys can use this for years to come. So I definitely know this story paper is something we're gonna be using a lot of. This Pond Life Activity Pack is so adorable. You get 51 pages of like all these different little examples. I've seen like, you know, those bundles you see advertised for like $25. Access to hundreds, if not thousands of those things. I found this cute little butterfly printout. I was trying to look for some stuff for my preschooler because his sisters are going to be doing it, and I found that, which I thought was super cute. As you can see, you just kind of search stuff, and so here's like all the little butterfly life cycle things that I found. This was something really cute too. You can print out this daily morning board. You could laminate it, put those like little Velcro stickers, and have like a fun little today board that you and your child can do together. And for all of our lovely homeschool planning hearts, I found this planner, and this is one of hundreds. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. So use my link down below. I believe you can get a free trial where you get up to 10 things you can download for free that you can keep. All right, now my son I don't know if he's different than how my daughters were, but I'm just noticing it different because I'm so now involved in homeschooling and all the different resources, but he loves hands-on manipulatives. Him just sitting down doing a worksheet with nothing physical to do doesn't work out well. I mean, sometimes if he's like in a school mood, I can get him to complete a worksheet or two, but if I introduce manipulatives, this boy will sit there for hours, and he absolutely loves them. So I'm going to show you tons of manipulatives that we have and use in our homeschool. These little buckets I got at the Dollar Tree a while ago, but they've actually worked perfect for this. So the first one are just these like wooden shapes. Some of them, I think I've collected them over the years from different curriculums my daughters have used. Some are magnets, so he can actually build these on like a magnet whiteboard. And then some are just wood pieces. So he builds shapes with these. I think I have the little cards that like give you an idea of a shape to make. He's not at that point yet, but he loves making little designs with these. These little animal counters, I got these from like a Timberdoodle dent sale, but I will link them below because there's tons of options. So these are farm animals. So there's the different types of animals, there's the different colors. So again, we, you know, do a lot of counting, a lot of color sorting with these, and then sometimes he just plays with them. These math cube linking boxes or blocks are good for practicing counting. These ones that we bought, when we first bought them, they were kind of difficult for him to do himself, to like pull apart. But now that we've used them a while, they're a little bit easier. So he can snap them together. There's like little shapes and stuff on there. There's the different colors. So we use these a lot for math counting. We're learning 5 frames and 10 frames, so these help because of the square shape. They fit the frames perfectly. Speaking of like 10 frames and stuff, I did pick up this. See how they're all blue? These are just standard counting 10 frames. And so this is really introducing the concept, like you can't separate this, like this is a 10 frame counter. This is in preparation for curriculum that we're going to be using in the future. So I believe this is, there might even be 100 piece that I just don't have in the bucket because it doesn't fit, but we have a bunch of the 10s and then the 1 pieces. So we play with these sometimes, especially when we're looking at the date of the month, and if we need to break up the teens, the 10s, and the 1s. So we're kind of building those concepts with these. I also have these teddy bear counters. These are amazing and he loves these. The ones I have, they're all the same size, but they are different colors. I don't even know if it says, oh, there's 102. So there's tons in here. He goes to these more than any other manipulative if he gets to choose. And that is because my friend Nikki, she has a YouTube channel, This Blessed Homeschool Mess. I was kind of talking to her about like how he loves like hands-on things. And so she sent me over this thing from Tot Schooling. It's a free download. It's activities to go specifically with teddy bear counters. And so he's absolutely been loving that. And then they had another one that I printed out. It was like goldfish, like literacy, where you use the little goldfish crackers. And so we haven't started that one yet, but that one's more like reading based, sorting and all of that. And so those two things are absolutely right up his alley and amazing. So I'll link that down below also. All right, I thought I was gonna do this in like a super organized order. If you guys saw around me, I just have like everything preschool laid out. We'll see how organized I keep this. But while I'm talking about math things, we've been using Kate Snow's Preschool Math at Home. This was recommended from Brittany. Her channel is Brittany Olga. I really enjoy watching her videos because she has kids like right above my age, some of them. And so I can kind of see what she's been working on and as I'm planning for my next year. And so she recommended Preschool Math at Home. I love this. It's more of like, it's a different approach. It's definitely like a parent reading book, but then it guides you like how to do different math activities and different concepts. And so right now we're about halfway through, a little less than halfway through, and it just gives us different concepts, but a lot of it is using like toys. So we just kind of use these manipulatives. We're just now getting into like a 5 frame, and so like I said, I really like using these cubes when we're talking about in this curriculum, because see how big they are. So it really helps visually fill in the cubes, so he can just be like, oh, that's 5, or oh, that's 10. It's really about, you know, finger counting, and then it goes for just being able to group and just know how many numbers are in certain frames. So this is something that you can start even as early as like age 3. And like I said, we're a little bit less than halfway through it. And so we're probably going to finish this pretty soon into, if not before, his upcoming like pre-K year. And so I have been looking at Kate Snow's Math with Confidence. So that's her next series after this, her kindergarten program, because it's very similar in approach. And he just, because of the manipulatives and counting, he's really great at it. So that may be something that we look into also. All right, some other things, I guess hands wise, these little dot markers, which I don't know the exact ones these are. I will link some though for you guys. They're like little bingo daubers is what they remind me of. So see, like the ink is right there. And these ones have a really cool twist cap that he can do himself, which is always amazing. He likes these, coloring with them. Honestly, even my older daughters did. So these are really fun instead of like traditional markers and stuff. We have also tried out all like the special pencils. So these are like tiny, they're just like thicker, grippy ones, and these are actually colored pencils. So he uses these a lot because he tends to want like colored pencils or markers like when he's practicing writing. So these have worked out really great for his like little hands to work on pencil grip. But then I actually just recently got these. They popped up, obviously, you know, when you shop on stores, things pop up that they recommend. They're these little like silicone-ish, because they're like soft and squishy, pencil holders. So the only problem though with these is those little thicker pencils don't fit. They're meant for traditional size pencils. So then we go back to him having to hold a super long pencil. But anyways, you stick it through, and then they take their little pincher fingers, and then they basically just learn like how to hold the pencil correctly with the little thing helping them hold it. So it worked. I mean, as soon as he put it on, it was amazing and it worked. I just don't know like how necessary it is. But you know, we'll see. I'm not an expert in kid handwriting, so I don't know the pros or cons of these, but we tried it out. You know, I really kind of let him just decide what he wants to do. And so unless he's just holding the pencil completely correctly, you know, like this, or, you know, two hands, things like that, then I don't necessarily correct him too much. This is something that he absolutely loves. It is the Melissa and Doug My Daily Calendar. We have it not hung up because we constantly have to take it up and down. It's like kind of just sitting on like a shelf in our homeschool room. So it's two parts. Let me fold it down. These are all like the extra pieces, so we normally just keep it folded up like this, and it's magnets. And so you have the month, the date, you know, the days of the week, the season, the temperature, and then there's different activities you can put, different holidays. And then he loves these little smiley faces, how he feels. You know, you get to pick which one he feels that day. And so this has been really fun, getting him just used to like dates and the days of the month or days of the week changing, number practice. So like I said, if it's an 8, then we get out our counters and make that number. So he's really enjoyed that. And I think it was on sale last time I looked for like 16 bucks. So I think that's pretty good. I mean, it's wood, these are magnets. It comes with tons of different things you can add on. And you could always use dry erase marker on it too if you wanted. Something also, because I don't know, now we're in the wood theme, I guess. This I bought because we are planning to use the Sunlight Pre-K curriculum for the upcoming school year, even though we've kind of already started using it. And I'll share more on that as we get into it. But part of that is using this little sandbox to write letters. And so as you can see, there's some sand in there, and then he gets this little wooden pen, and then he can do the different letters and whatever in this. I mean, this one, the reason I bought this one is because it was the cheapest one I could find, because I don't know how long this will keep his interest. Like, I feel like you could only trace letters so much in this. So I might get creative and switch out the sand to something else or different color sands. But this was the best priced one I could find. This is something that I keep up high and I bring it down for him to use, and it's very monitored because this sand has already, even him being like super careful, me watching him, the sand gets everywhere, and I'm just not a fan of that. It's just something that the curriculum we're going to be using recommends doing, and we have tried it out and he likes it. So a little sand writer thing. Some of our books that we use in our homeschool, the first thing is the Bob's book series. These are the books that I actually use to teach my older two daughters to read. So they're tried and true. I've heard nothing but great things. So I have pretty much every Bob set possible. This is like the beginning set where you're just going through letters. So this is kind of what we're still using. So this is the E and F book. And then as they get older, they kind of transition to these like little books where they start knowing the characters. They're shorter. They have, you know, little words and sight words. They can start reading them themselves. So we have hundreds of these Bob books everywhere. I also have a bunch of the Good and the Beautiful beginner book sets, like A, B, C, D. Last year, I think they redid them all, so I grabbed all the previous editions on a huge clearance, and he really likes these books. So this is the B box, and again, just tiny little books. Right now, I'm reading to him. But eventually, you know, these could be his reader books. And then these books are First Books by First Step Phonics. They actually sent these to me to review, and I'll be sharing more of these on my Instagram coming soon. But these ones, the reason I like these is because they keep it at 3-letter words, and they're just simple readers. So this is a set of 13 first books. And so we've read a couple and he really likes them. So this one is called Nat. And then it's about, you know, a character named Rat. And so, you know, the rhyming, the super simple words, it's super colorful. So he's really been liking these books as well. I'm not going to show everything in the Sunlight curriculum because we're going to be doing a lot of curriculum walkthroughs and reveals. But obviously, if you're not familiar, Sunlight is a literature-based curriculum. So basically the entire curriculum is reading books, and we have like over 30 books that we're going to be reading. But we've actually started reading some of them already. We've already started working through the lessons. And so this book, the Bernstein Bears Big Book of Science and Nature, is what we're using as like our science. and I love this book, and he loves this book. It just goes through so many different things that you can build on. You can see, like, are they interested? Like, here's one on frogs. There's one, you know, on the different seasons. There's caves, things about machines. And so this is a really, really fun science book for little ones, especially if your little ones are already used to reading the Bernstein Bear books, which mine are. So they already know the characters, right? So this is like easy to introduce science for those little ones. All right, now on to the fun stuff. I have shared this in other videos, but if you're new, I do not like messes. Anytime I feel like you go on Pinterest and you plan to make a craft yourself, you end up spending lots of money at a craft store. It results in a huge mess, like all these extra supplies. Like, I have a whole closet in my house dedicated. It's called the craft closet, and there's just crap in there, like, to be honest, because, you know, for a project you need, you know, 3 pipe cleaners. Well, the store doesn't sell 3 pipe cleaners. It sells packs of hundreds of pipe cleaners. So I just have so much stuff in this craft closet, and I really just don't like it. But recently, in the past, well, we'll say back in winter time, I discovered knowledge crates, and I shared the knowledge crate winter boxes with you, but I just got my spring knowledge crate, and I'm telling you, the preschool box is a game changer. Like I said, preschool, pre-K, kindergarten needs these in their home. They also have the school age kit, which my older daughters love, but specifically for pre-K, this is the time where they love those hands-on crafts and activities, and they really do want them more often. Where my older kids, I can get away saying, oh, we'll do that like every 2 weeks, we'll try to do that. But with preschoolers and pre-K, they love this stuff. They're learning, they get to touch it all. So knowledge crates really has like changed that whole world for me. So I just kind of want to share a couple things. So in this spring crate, so they have 4 crates a year and they're seasonal. So we just got our spring crate. It's all about like Earth Day and protecting our earth, and so you actually use the big knowledge crate box in one of your projects. So that's why I don't have mine, because we've already kind of disassembled it in preparation for that activity. But I also found too that us storing our knowledge crates in something like this, like an open bin, really helps us use it more. And the reason I really like having it in the open box is the kids can see the things. So they can be like, oh, you know, they can walk by and notice the little baggie of animals, or, you know, this little activity. And so it really makes them too, like, visually like, oh yes, I want to do that. And visually reminds me, when we had it in the box, you know, we kind of forget about it unless I planned it out specifically. So I like having it in like open bins and keeping it all organized. Now, if you don't know about knowledge crates, you get everything in the crate and an activity guide, and all the activities are packaged together. Okay, so this is what I mean when I say that this has changed the way we do fun activities, because they make it so easy. They give us fun activities. They give you everything you need. There's, you know, you don't have to go to the craft store. You don't have like all these big boxes of leftover stuff. You have what you need, you do the activity, and then you're done. So here's an example. So here's the preschool activity guide. This project is the oil spill. So my kids can flip through here. There's a little picture of what it should look like. And then in our kit, we find the correlating little package. So everything I need is in here. Here's the instructions, and that's all we need. So this has made these fun activities just game changer. I do actually have a discount link down below for Knowledge Crate, so you get 15% off if you use my code. They have tons of different options. They have like the huge spring seasonal crates that I'm sharing, and then they have like specific ones, like they have a dinosaur one, they have a space one. So definitely go check those out, because your kids are gonna love it. Like, it's totally worth it. This one we've already did. It's the Earth Day oobleck. Oobleck is like, it defies science, because it's like liquid to like solid. It's really cool, and it's really just water and cornstarch, but then they added in paint, so you actually made like the earth, and this was really fun. I actually had a bunch of my daughter's older friends over too, and they all had a great time doing it. And so even though this is the preschool crate, like these activities go for other ages as well. And then, like I said, they do have the school age crate, which I get from my older daughters. And some of those projects are just like a little bit more in depth. So I think there's over like 15 activities in here. It also comes with books, which my kids have already taken. That's why it's so hard for me to do these like unboxing videos on knowledge crates, because I mean, I get it and I have to peek right away because it's just so exciting. But then the second my kids know it's open, they take everything and disperse. So you also get 5 different books with it as well, you know, depending on your age, your kids' ages. And so there's reading activity. And then they also always include like actual like things that non-consumable items. And these are some of our favorites. So this is a lined writing whiteboard, which is going to be perfect for my pre-care. And then this was one of our favorite things that was in the box this time, this Pop for Letters game. We've only had these boxes a couple weeks, and I can't tell you how many times we've already played this game. Again, it's that hands-on manipulative. So in here, there's like little pieces, and my son and I, or my son and my daughters, you pick out a piece of the popcorn, and then there's a letter. This is a D, but I feel like it looks like a B to you guys because of the filming. And so we say like, what is the letter sound? Can you tell us a word that starts with it? So this, he has no idea. He's learning, like, because he loves this game. And then I think there's certain pieces that like say pop on them. And if you get those pieces, you have to put all your pieces back in. And so this is amazing. And this is not like a craft, a consumable thing that we're going to be done. These are things that we're going to be keeping forever. So not everything in the kit is just like a one-time use. So we love knowledge crates. Those are a huge part of our preschool, pre-K, kindergarten, school age crafts. That's the only reason we do crafts in our homeschool. I'm not even lying about that. All right, just a couple more fun resources that I want to share. I have shared these specifically so many times that everybody's like, that is the best thing ever, and they truly are, and they last forever. So these are pre-cut tissue squares. So you get a pack like this, and I think there was 8 in here eventually, and so like I still have 5 left. And as you can see, there's hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 of different colors of pre-cut tissue paper. I didn't know that this was even a necessity, but however, there's like, he likes to glue these on things, and cutting tissue paper to little sizes and evenly is not easy by any means. And so as you can see, it's a piece of actual tissue paper, but it's cut perfectly to the square. So he can just grab these, glue them on. Absolutely amazing, super affordable. And so as you can see, here they all are. We have hundreds of them everywhere. So those have been a super fun addition, and I know every time I share them, everybody's like, oh my gosh, those are really cool, because they really are. This was also something that I was recommended because I was trying out the gentle and classical preschool, and so this is a menu holder for like restaurants. But what it is basically, it's just like hard plastic, and then you can slip pages in there. And so this makes for like a really fun like warm up, or just like the pages we do like repeatedly. And so this one, we say, what is the day of the month? And so it's the 8th. And this is where we can put those little, these things, you know, on here. So this is really fun. And then he can use dry erase, and then I can just wipe it off. We have like the weather things. We have like name writing practice, more name writing practice, all these different things. So these are really cool. This is like a really cool way to like organize it. This one is 4 pockets, I think. So 8 pages it can hold all together. And so I'll link these too. It's just like a really fun addition to have like those papers stored in, so you don't have to like keep printing stuff. A lot of times like these little ones, you know, they need to practice the same thing over and over again, and so that's something really good to have. I've shared this before because I really love it. It's the ABC Here Do series, and this is level 1. This is the Learn to Read. So this is the very first book in their series. It's capital letters. The reason I like it is it's learning the letters and letter sounds. So this example, T for turtle, and it says tap the air. And so what this does is, we know every time we get to this, if he can't remember the sound, I say tap the air, and it's something physical he's doing, and it can recall that letter sound or letter. So I really, really like this series. They're big, bright things, and so you could even pull these out and put them like in a flip book. That little menu holder I just showed. Sometimes if we're working on just like a specific letter of the week, I rip it out and put that like on our bulletin board. As you advance into it, then you're practicing words with the sound. So r, eh, p, you know, and it shows them the little animals so they can recall those sounds, those kind of little stories to remember. So I've been meaning by the second book in this, which is lowercase letters, but again, it goes more into reading words, and they actually have like a huge series that I'll probably use the entire time because it just has worked so well for him. So I'll link this too as well. We also have been working with Get Ready for the Code. This is A, and then the teacher's guide, because there's A, B, and C, and this is like the before series before Explode the Code. And so we've been working here and there with these, not too, you know, I'll say consistent with it, but I want to be. So this is something too that Sunlight recommends using, and so as we get more into that curriculum, I do see us becoming a little bit more consistent and moving from A to B and then eventually C. I also am trying out the Handwriting Without Tears, my first school book, and so this is their first writing book. We were using the Good and the Beautiful like little doodle things, but I thought we would give this a try. It's a little bit bigger, it's just laid out a little bit different, and so this is what we're going to be using too to practice handwriting. So I know I shared, and I think I shared everything, I don't know, there was so much. We don't use like all of these things every day. I think too, with littler kids, they get a little burnt out on the same thing over and over again, like at least my kid does. And so we're always changing what we're doing. And so something that's worked really good for me is just having all this stuff like accessible and open in our homeschool room. And so we can just grab, you know, a variety of different things every day when we're doing school. We have become more consistent with at least doing something school related every day, like every school day. And so that's been a huge difference. And the only thing that we've been using every day is some of our read alouds from our Sunlight curriculum, because those are just like different stories, that science book I showed you. And so my son will be continuing like pre-K this upcoming school year. He's not starting kindergarten, but like I said, that doesn't mean I won't be using maybe some more kindergarten resources for him, especially like in math, those areas that I think he might be ready for that next step. So I hope you guys enjoyed all the resources I shared. If you have your favorite resources for these ages, leave it down below in the comments. Like I said, everything I talked about has a link down below in the description. Any items that I buy on Amazon, I'm sharing my preschool Amazon like page where everything I use for that, everything I showed here is in like that little link. So you can click on it and then everything's there. So you don't have to keep clicking on different links. And then if I have discounts on anything I shared, those will be down below too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day and we'll chat soon. Bye.